This is just nonsense. And he's just doing it because he's on his little tour to show that he's like the master inventor and deserves the $1 trillion compensation pay. It's just, he's not the master inventor anymore, folks. He's just not. Hi, everyone. This is Pivot from New York Magazine and the Vox Media Podcast Network. I'm Kara Swisher, and now I must sing to Scott Galloway on his birthday.
No.
Yes.
No,
Yes.
It's okay.
Now, happy birthday to you. You live in a zoo. You look like a monkey because you're wearing a monkey suit, and you act like one, too.
When did we get so old, Kara?
I don't
What
know,
happened?
Scott. You look good, though. You have a suit on because I understand you went on much of television today.
I was on Morning Joe,
Yeah.
then the Today Show,
Yeah.
and I just got back from The View, where they asked me about my father, and I started crying in front of an audience.
Perfect. Oh, that's with all the ladies, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
God.
Savannah Guthrie wrote me a lovely note. She said, Scott
Oh, she
Galloway for
loves you.
president. She loves you.
Yeah, I was on with her and Craig.
Craig. Handsome Craig.
Yeah, handsome Craig, and she looks
Handsome
great.
Savannah, too.
Yeah, she's
She's a nice person.
she seems actually, she's a real woman of faith, and I
She
like the
is.
way she positions her faith. I think it's really.
I interviewed her about that when her book
I
came
remember
out.
that, yeah. But I'm a total media whore this morning. I'm
Yeah.
absolutely everywhere.
Yeah. So that's good, though.
Whereas usually I'm just a whore.
Are you just a whore? Now
Just
you're-
a hoe.
How
Just
was
a
Morning
giant
Joe?
hoe.
How's Morning Joe? Did you flirt with the two of them?
Well, they were remote. I guess they're down in Florida or somewhere.
They just don't leave their home now. Okay.
Yeah, they don't
That's
leave their home.
weird.
They roll out of bed and roll in. But you know what? They've always been, you know how some shows, they just want you to win?
Yeah.
That's what Morning Joe is for me. Joe and Mika always try to set me up for success.
Mm-hmm.
And so I really like it there. And plus they always make me look less awful. I look reasonable in that show.
Oh.
This is how vain I am. I think
That's
about
not
what shows
true.
make me look the best. But I love, I would say of all of the things I go on, I think Mars number one, because I find that show just so challenging and interesting, the format. But Morning Joe for me is really, I think they do a great job with the Coen. I mean, the bottom line is between the Morning Joe, The View, the Today Show, as much as I criticize TV, when you see just how much activity is going on behind the scenes, they give great TV.
They do. They do. And let me give you information. They sell fucking books. I got to say, after The View, my book sales rocketed more than Bill Maher and The View, I would say, and Today's Show. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I was on with Fareed yesterday.
Oh, good.
So yeah, I'm
You're
I'm
really
everywhere.
whoring it up. You
I'm
really
ubiquitous. I'm like AOL in the 90s. You stick your hand into a cereal box, you're going to pull out a little dog.
Little dog. Let me
Yeah.
ask you a question. How was The View ladies? Were they nice to you? Did they stroke you after you cried?
Did
Whoopi say, get the fuck out?
This is my second time. They've always been really lovely to me. It
Yeah.
was Anna Navarro, Whoopi, obviously, Alyssa Farah, who unfortunately is pregnant because I was thinking there was a shot that she would leave her husband for
No,
me.
she's
But
not. I didn't know
that doesn't seem to be going very well.
Yeah.
And then Sunny, who's
Sunny Hostin.
who looks 18 and she has a son who's a doctor.
Yeah.
And she wanted advice. She's saying, I'm going to give your book to my son. I'm like, oh, really? What's he doing? She's like, well, he's a Harvard-educated doctor. I'm like, no, he needs to mentor me. He needs to write a book and I'll read it. Like, he's just fine. He's tracking.
Oh, that's good.
But, yeah, they couldn't be.
Who's next? What's your next thing besides our Pivot Tour coming up? We've got one more show before our Pivot Tour.
Oh,
And
my
it's
God.
You and
I'm
I
on,
for a week.
Come on. I'm on Anderson Cooper tonight. I'm
Yeah.
on MSNBC tomorrow.
Yeah.
I'm on Christian Amanpour tomorrow.
Oh, good.
I'm everywhere.
Are you?
I'm
Good.
everywhere.
It's going to be too much, Scott. May I just say, how is your birthday going? The reason I sang is because I thought about playing the Stevie Wonder song, but YouTube dings us when we put music up.
Oh, yeah?
I can't.
I'm being very genuine. I don't like my birthday. I don't enjoy it. I don't want to be reminded of my age.
Oh, well.
I don't like gifts. I would rather, if I could delete anything, you know how we have those delete me ads? What we need is an app called Delete Birthday, where everybody
you're
forgets
kidding.
you
Why?
actually have birthdays.
Oh, now I sent you that edible arrangement. No, I didn't.
Actually, I'm shocked. In one of the many times you stayed here, you haven't arranged my edibles. See
I know, I have.
Little turn of phrase there.
I saw that, but I actually have done that. I looked through them at length one night when I was bored.
God.
I was like, I didn't take any of them, just so you know.
Yeah, you need to start.
I know, but I just was interested in them, and I looked them up, and I Googled all of them and everything.
Did you?
Yeah.
Is that part of the problem? My psychotic breaks?
No,
Is that part of the problem?
Not at all. Well, I am glad you're here another year.
Well, thank you for that. I appreciate that.
You look very nice, too. You're a little hunched over. Sit up straight with that suit on.
Sorry.
There you
How's
go.
that?
All right, yeah.
Good.
Looking nice. That's your go-to suit, isn't it? That's your go-to outfit.
Yeah. No, you know what's funny is I've consistently, I have probably, I don't know, a dozen suits I like. I like the idea of suits, and then I find one I like, and I wear the same thing over and over.
You look very Mom Donnie right now, I'll tell you. He loves a suit.
Kara, it's my birthday. Do you really want to bring that? That's my birthday.
I'm just saying. Come on. He wears a suit. He shows respect for people.
I think he's a good-looking guy.
He wears a suit, though.
I'll give him this.
He does show respect.
I think the learning. I keep getting calls from Democrats. What do you think of it? I'm like, the Democrats can take a lot from his campaign. I'll give him this. You know, I think you and I are a little bit different on different views on his policies. I don't think there's any denying that the Democrats can learn a lot from his campaign.
Well, we'll see. If he does, we'll see. You never know. People can surprise you on lots of ways. I think he seems to have talked to a lot more people than you think. I think he's very similar to AOC, who has pivoted much more to the center than...
Is that right, of AOC?
Yes, 100%. I think they learn. They want to be in position. Same thing with Marjorie Taylor Greene. Like, they're all pivoting in a way that makes them
Aren't you kind of suspicious of MTG, though? I'm just not sure I buy it.
I agree. I thought she was
I think she likes the attention, and she's getting a lot of attention.
She's doing a good job at getting it, I'll tell you that.
Well, someone asked me who the leader...
Jewish space lasers, yes.
Someone asked me who the leader of the Democratic Party was, and I said Marjorie Taylor Greene. she's been... yeah, it'll be... Look, people have asked me, well, what happens if he wins? I'm like, if he wins...
Nothing.
First off, I'm not a New York resident, but if he wins, like any candidate that wins, to be, I think, a good American, you have an obligation to be as supportive as possible and let them prove you wrong.
Correct.
And be supportive and let their actions speak. You have to open up to the possibility that maybe your preconceived notions that they were a terrible person because you get so caught up in the emotion of politics, give them the benefit of the doubt and rally behind them for a certain amount of time and let them... let them have their honeymoon. So and by the way, I'm saying this as if it's a foregone conclusion. It's really interesting. There are these ads on these bus shelters in Manhattan showing the statistical probability of their win from Kalshi. It's a great ad campaign. It shows Mondami at 92% or 93% and Cuomo at 8%. And they're on bus shelters everywhere. And it says Kalshi Market. And you don't even realize it's an ad. It's such a brilliant ad because it shows it. You don't have your screen up. It doesn't look like an ad. It's information. And what you realize is that Kalshi is this place that people are going to now to look to help predict the future.
Yeah.
It's the best branding campaign I've seen in a while.
Oh,
and Polymarket, Kalshi and Polymarket.
Yeah, I think that'll be. You know what? The only good thing I got to say, one bad thing, one good thing about that. I think he's definitely going to win. And let's just wait and see what he does. We'll see.
Well,
we'll see.
I think that's fair. Wait and see.
Wait and see. Yeah. And the second thing, and he has a lot of good ideas. Some aren't as good. Some are good. Like, let's see. He's fresh, right? That's the key thing. And he's got people. You just watch him going around New York everywhere he goes. He's created excitement around himself.
I think he's a fantastic. I think he's a fantastic campaigner, and I can't wait for sponsored food lines.
Oh, stop
called,
it. You know what? Literally,
subsidized
the
grocery
rich people
stores.
have their own version of welfare every single fucking day of the week. So to give people a grocery store.
Implicit in that statement is that I don't believe in a redistribution of income, which I do, but I don't think you have to be stupid about it. If you want to help young people, fine, give them food stamps, put more money in their pockets. If you want to have lower cost of housing, give tax incentives to people who build reasonable cost housing and let the private sector take over. Rent control will just take rents up. Anyway.
Well, it's rent. There's
freezes.
Cuomo's been messing it up. Like Cuomo had the same thing he had for many, many years. It's not control. It's rent.
Rent freezes. De Blasio had it.
Yes. Not rent freezes. It's something else. This is the good thing and the bad thing. One, put Andrew Cuomo away. Like, he must leave this. He must join some boards. It's rent stabilized. Excuse me. That's the word we're looking for. Get rid of Andrew Cuomo. Nobody wants you. Nobody wants you, really. So, and you've done every trick in the book except appeal to voters. That's one. Two, Curtis Sliwa, I would give a job to. I think he shows of anybody.
He's a big winner coming out of this.
Let me just say, he loves New York. And if I were Mamdani, I would actually reach out to him, because I have to say, I thought he's kooky as can be, but he's also conducted himself with a lot of grace, I think, right? He hasn't gotten out. He's talked about his issues. Loves his cats. That's besides the point. But I think he really has made some really good points and some really crazy ones. But I would reach out to him. I just was I had a very different opinion of him. And I think he's come a long way, let's just say. Anyway.
I agree. Although I will say, I really don't like spoilers in the sense that I think everyone has a bit of an obligation to whether he was in the race or not.
But he's not a spoiler. He's the Republican candidate. Cuomo's the spoiler. That's who the spoiler is. He lost. He lost his primary, and he couldn't stand.
Yeah, but you're defining spoiler by party affiliation. I define spoiler by somebody who has no chance of winning and who is going to dictate the winner by virtue of the fact they're taking votes from someone else. Now, let me just say, even if he weren't in the race, I think Mamdani would still be the winner. But it's very unusual, and it works both ways. The reason Bill Clinton won was because of Ross Perot. If Ross Perot had not been in the race or dropped out, Bush would have won. If Nader had not been in the race, Gore would have won. So I do think that you have an obligation, if you have no chance of winning, to let people decide between the two candidates who have a chance of winning.
Well, I don't know.
Do you think Nader should have stayed in the race?
I think he should have stayed in there. I think Cuomo, it just literally can't get out of the fucking... And by the way, I think it would have been a lot more competitive with Curtis if Cuomo had butted the fuck out. Like, he was the Republican candidate. Cuomo lost fair and square. He lost fair and square, and he couldn't take it because he's a giant. I'm glad he will be leaving the scene if he loses. Anyway,
this will be the end. I think
all
you're right.
wrong with the Democratic Party is personified in that man. Anyway, we've got a lot to. I'm sure Chris Cuomo will write me a mean no, but sorry, Chris, it's true. We've got a lot to get to today, including Netflix exploring a bid for Warner Brothers Discovery, and Elon Musk hints at a flying Tesla demo. Oh, good God. Okay. But first, the government shutdown has now lasted more than a month. It's about to become the longest in U.S. history. The 42 million Americans who receive food stamps will only get partial payments from the governments this month. It is really awful for them to do this. The Trump administration just told a federal judge that it would not tap additional funds for full payments. This after two federal judges ordered Trump to use emergency funds to keep the program. Travel disruptions are also mounting with flight delays and staffing shortages at airports across the country. And as a new poll shows, most Americans blame President Trump and Republicans in Congress for the ongoing shutdown. We're not political experts, but certainly from a business point of view, you saw the United CEO sort of shilling for the Trump White House, which is grotesque, sir. By the way, Mr. Kirby, I happen to be a global services person, and I am unhappy with your stance. I think it's you can blame both of them if you like, but to take any side, it was really irritating. Where are we? Where are we from a business and other perspective?
Well, there's the strategic side of it. The Democrats are finally winning. They've strategically, they've picked a pointed, obvious issue, healthcare. They're right. It always helps to be right. The increase in premiums is just untenable for a lot of people. And the Republican viewpoint of us, well, we'll talk about this. This is no way to run government. It's like, well, folks, you voted for something that essentially transferred money from the healthcare of lower and middle class households to wealthy for tax cuts. That's basically your big, beautiful view. So why should anyone trust that given the power where you already control all three houses of government, that then you're going to address this issue? So you're absolutely correct. The majority of Americans hold the GOP responsible for this. It's just almost alien, or it's an alien feeling to see the Democrats being strategic and pointed and united. Usually there's 3 or 4 of them who've taken money from the private equity industry or something, Kristen Sinema,
Kristen Sinema,
who peel off. So this
Lobbying
is
whore.
this is a big win so far. And then on a more existential level, I've been running around, Midtown talking about masculinity. If you think about provider and prosperity, the whole point of prosperity, the whole point is such that you can protect people. And for them to be cutting off food stamps when the money is available. Remember the movie? They're in a massive rainstorm. They can't find a place to stay. They have no money. And the woman says to John Cusack, oh, wait, I forgot I have my parents' credit card. It's like a $29 hotel. They're going to get out of this crazy rainstorm. She's like, and then she pauses and goes, oh, but I'm only supposed to use it in emergencies. And he looks at her and says, well, it's lucky this isn't an emergency.
Yeah.
To not use every dollar possible to ensure that 14 million American children in the most prosperous nation in the history of the world have access to food, this is an emergency. And they just come across
Scrooge.
Well, it's just such.
Are they not? What is that? Are they not?
It's the definition of anti-American. It's the definition of anti-masculine.
Yeah.
They're using children as human shields.
They are.
They think they can shame the Democrats into saying, we're more depraved than you. We believe that you're less depraved than us. It's like when Terrence Stamp played the nemesis of Superman, and he said, I found his weakness. He being Superman, he's like, he actually cares about them.
Yeah.
Right now, the GOP is saying, as Zod, we think their weakness is they actually care about these people, and we'll use them as human shields. And even though we have the money to pay for SNAP for several weeks longer available to us, we think they're going to blink. We're going to use them as human shields. And I think the American public, at least according to the polls, is seeing through this. So,
well, I think what's interesting is the Democrats are like, we'll just show people who you are. Like, we aren't going to save them. You need to save them. You're in charge.
This is your big, beautiful deal.
This is your big, beautiful deal. You run you run the Supreme Court, you run the House, you run the Senate, you run the presidency. If you kill them, you kill them. Like, we can't stop you. I think it's actually, I don't think, the thing is, will they? Because they really are a cruel bunch, right? Them just futzing around on this SNAP thing is so ridiculous. Just pay the SNAP thing. They can't lose on anything. That's their whole thing, no matter who pays the price. And they'll just look, Maya Angelou, when you see someone, believe it, believe when they tell you who they are. So let's let them tell us who they are.
Yeah.
That's who I say. Anyway, we'll see. As I told you, remember that time when that Trump person told me some of the crazies in that group want to do it 47 days for his presidency? That's what it feels like. Anyway, I thought that was a ridiculous, stupid, juvenile thing, but here we are. By the way, I really enjoyed the Gatsby party. Nice timing, President Trump.
God.
I know, right? Like, literally, is there something, like, these are careless people. Like, the metaphors just write themselves. I mean, Gavin Newsom doesn't even have to try hard on these things. And he did a good job, actually. So let's move on. We'll see. Do you have a prediction? What's going to move the needle?
I got to think that it seems to me that the Democrats are just shockingly unified. And I would think, I want to get your prediction because, as you pointed out, I'm famously bad at political predictions. But I would think that Republicans will come up with something that is like, they'll claim that they're staying true to their principles, but agree to some sort of accommodation. What people don't, this is bad on so many levels.
They've got to pass it. They can't just say they're going to pass it. The Democrats don't believe them.
No, the Democrats are going to go, the whole trust part of the program is over. This notion somehow that the people who decided to take money out of SNAP and put it towards wealthy people's tax breaks, that all of a sudden they're going to have a change of heart. No one, we're not going to be fool me once, right? I think what they'll come up with is some sort of accommodation that gives the Democrats at least some of what they want, maybe most of what they want, and they'll pretend to be the good guys and move on. But I think this is a rare winning issue. But people don't realize this is more than just kids going hungry and low-income families going hungry.
Airlines, all kinds of safety issues.
There are 300,000 people in Veterans Affairs giving physical therapy and medical treatment to veterans.
Yeah.
So we're going to leave our veterans in the cold right now?
Everybody gets affected.
This really is sort of what's the point of all this prosperity if we're going to, leave people out in the cold like this?
Right.
It really is very feels very dysfunctional.
Scrooge. Anyway, interesting story. Now it's getting interesting. Netflix is actively exploring a bid for Warner Brothers Discovery's studio and streaming businesses. According to Reuters, the streamer has hired investment bank, and I don't know this bank, Moelis and Company.
Moelis. They're gangsters. They're very good. A potential
offer. This is the same bank that just advised Skydance on the Paramount deal. Comcast could also be in the mix. President Mike Kavanaugh, who I think is very smart, said last week the company might consider bidding for certain Warner assets, though he noted a merger isn't necessary. This is really interesting because then David Zaslav now has some shit going on, right? And it's not so easy for the Paramount boys and their giant money to sail in there. It creates a feeling among shareholders that maybe especially the studio stuff is worth more apart than together. It gives some juice. What do you think? Or is it all just, it doesn't matter?
So first off, I got this wrong. I said just last week that I didn't think Netflix would get anywhere near this because of they have such a strong culture. What I think it says is a couple things. One, I think this is sort of maybe an acknowledgement from Netflix that they've run out of greenfield or running room to grow their business organically.
Right.
And what you said also resonates now, and that is there's some content here that really is singular, and they want to build a content library to of try and sort of catch up.
It's quite a content library. Think about it, Game of Thrones. Like, it's so good.
There's a lot.
Sopranos.
There's a lot.
Think what they could do with the Sopranos. They could, I mean, like so much stuff. Just like and not just new stuff, older stuff, like real, like.
Oh my God, my favorite show. I don't know if you have your favorite show. I watch. For me, my kids, my sons refused to talk. I was looking forward to the sex talk. Neither of them will ever let me talk about sex with them.
Oh, wow.
They've just decided that's horrific, and Dad, no, we don't. We'll learn it on the street or from porn. We have no interest in talking to you about it.
I think I had a sex talk with the boys.
I've decided that the ultimate sex education is they have to watch all 8 seasons of me with Game of Thrones.
Oh, no.
Oh, 100%.
Not sex.
It's got aspirational homosexual characters. It's got real love stories. Ingrid and Jonathan Snow is one of the most gripping love stories ever. It's got really bad behavior in terms of
it has castrations. It has, okay.
Well, there's that. There's that.
Like a lot of rape. A lot of like. Okay. All right. Okay. You do your parenting. I'll do mine. But go ahead.
So that's my sex ad for my sons.
Right.
Is Game of Thrones for 8 seasons.
Galloway boys, come and see me. I'll help you. Those are all Richard Plepler, our pal Richard. He just texted me the other day.
But if you think about what's so interesting about HBO is with, I think, a content budget of about $2 billion versus 18 in Netflix, the culture at HBO must be so extraordinary because they consistently punch above their weight class.
Yeah, first it was Bucas, then it was Plepler, and now it's Casey Bloys.
Michael Fuchs, way back in the day. Mm-hmm. But my God, some of the content, Sex and the City, I think was incredible.
Think about all the things.
And then even Girls, the modern kind of Sex and the City, I thought that was incredible. Yeah. Have you seen Chernobyl? Chernobyl's incredible.
Yeah, all of it. I mean, this makes a lot of sense, as I told you, for Netflix. It does. And what it does for David Zaslav is it shows off the stuff that it's worth. Like, don't let these dipshits at Paramount get everything for cheap, right? Don't hand it over to these guys who've already shown relatively bad behavior in terms of media. But it's so valuable, like the studio and streaming stuff. And then you can figure out what to do with the news stuff. Just spin it all together, give it to Versant. That's what someone from there was saying. Let's pronounce it Versant, not Versant. Versant, like it's a question.
Versant.
I don't know. It doesn't make it any better.
But what they're probably doing, I would be shocked. I think what they're doing is the following. I think, by the way, Moelis has established itself as is absolutely, in my opinion, the premier investment bank as it relates to media. Okay. They're outstanding at what they do. What I think what they've probably done is they've all signed crazy NDAs.
Right.
And they're, I would bet, openly communicating. Would they be doing? I think they're willing to take pieces. I can't imagine the Ellisons want all of this.
They don't.
And I would imagine that Netflix wants certain things that Ellison does not want, and vice versa. And this might be a club deal where they take certain stuff. And meanwhile, what you have is a CEO who's added so little shareholder value, who's positioning them against each other to do shit like maintain his leadership role and feather his nest. The only thing I know that's going to happen here is that David Zaslav is about to become the Adam Newman of media. And that is make a shit ton of money for destroying a lot of shareholder value.
Well, not
by playing these guys off of each other. By the way, Warner Brothers Discovery, there needs to be a special committee of the board looking at every deal. And Zaslav is there to wave his hands and get them excited. He should not be negotiating this deal because the one thing we know about Zaslav is he will extract a great deal of shareholder money and put it in his pocket as opposed to shareholders.
Wow. If he gets a lot of money for it, I guess that'll be worth it to them. But it is interesting that now there's some activity. And again, as we say, guys, get in here. There's some very valuable things. Don't let the Nepo baby get everything. There's stuff that's real. And also for Comcast, too. Same thing. Same. And there's ways to do this. Anyway, I just like to see a fight. Fight. All right, Scott, let's go on a quick break. When we come back, Apple and Amazon earnings. Support for the show comes from Built Rewards. Nobody wants to pay rent, but if you have to, Built makes it worth it. Built is revolutionizing how millions think about paying rent by rewarding their members with points and exclusive benefits around their neighborhood every single month. By paying rent through Built, they say you can earn flexible points that can be redeemed towards hundreds of hotels and airlines, a future rent payment, your next Lyft ride, and more. But your home isn't just where you sleep. It's your community, and Built wants to make your entire neighborhood more rewarding. So with Built, you can dine out at your favorite local restaurants and earn additional points, get VIP treatment at certain fitness studios, and enjoy exclusive experiences just for Built members every month. And when you're ready to travel, they say Built points can be converted to miles or hotel points all around the world. You can earn points on rent and around your neighborhood wherever you call home by going to joinbuilt.com/pivot. That's joinbilt.com/pivot. Make sure to use our URL so they know we sent you. Scott, we're back and we've got more earnings to discuss. Let's start with Apple. The surge in iPhone sales, surprise, gave Apple a big boost this past quarter, sending total revenue up $102 billion, up 8% from last year. Wow, that's a lot. It went to 102, up 8%. But it was a mixed bag for other parts of the business. iPad and wearable sales were flat, and sales in China fell about 3.6%. That's not a surprise. Although they don't have really sexy, the watches weren't that big a jump. I didn't get a new one, and I usually do. CapEx came in at $12 billion for the year, up 35% from last year and expected to grow, but it's still pretty low compared to what the rest of big tech is spending on AI. They seem rather frugal comparatively, but the others are, spending like the proverbial drunken sailors, And speaking of what other big tech companies are spending, let's talk also about Amazon. CapEx continues to surge with more than $34 billion spent in the last quarter and a full year total expected to top $125 billion. AI spending seems to be paying off. Amazon Web Services revenue jumped 20% from last year, its fastest pace since 2022. Overall, it was a strong quarter for Amazon with $180 billion in revenue and sales up 13% year over year. And by the way, OpenAI just signed a $38 billion computing deal with AWS, another one of these, and its first contract with Amazon. So talk a little bit about this and how these companies continue to succeed in spite of tariffs. Obviously, aren't affected by them. Well, Amazon might be a little bit, and Trump chaos in general. I think
on Apple too. Although they've gotten some exemptions. It's not clear what.
Yeah, that's right.
That gift, whatever it was,
the gold statue, the golden calf, as I like to call it. Go ahead.
Yeah, who knows what the tariffs are going to be on Apple. I would describe Apple's earnings as unremarkable, but stronger than people expected. I think Apple's the most expensive of those stocks right now. I'm actually thinking about selling my Apple stock, which I've owned for 15 years. Just because they're growing single digits, but they're trading like a growth stock. But I always buy the new iPhone. I find the new operating system to be a bit cumbersome, glitchy. But the battery life is great. And also iPhone sales, we don't know how much of it was front loading because of tariff scares, but the company continues to do well. They have been sort of a sleeper on AI. We'll see if they come through and do anything. I think that what Apple has done that will go down in the history books, and they continue to do, is that what they have pulled off, the iPhone is the most successful product in history if you just look at the amount of gross margin or gross dollar margin that's been created. And the analogy I always use is that imagine an automobile company had the margins of Ferrari with the production volumes of Toyota. It's the most – this just is sort of an anomaly in marketing. Typically, you go one of two ways. You go for the mass product that's a lower price, or you go for a niche, lower volume product that's more expensive. The iPhone is the most expensive phone on the market, but also the largest volume seller. That you just never – you're never able to pull that off. And they continue to sell more and more of these iPhones. It doesn't look like – we keep predicting it's going to be spatial computing or there's something else. Doesn't appear. It appears that they're stronger than ever. Amazon, which again is my big tech stock pick for 26, beat on bottom and top lines, up 13%, good AWS growth. By the way, sent the stock up 13% after hours. AWS reported 20% growth versus a whisper of 19. They performance pushback on their kind of AWS performance pushback on the overhang here, and that the overhang or the cloud over their cloud offering is that it's behind in AI. Their cloud growth hit its fastest pace in 3 years, and Amazon added 3.8 gigawatts of new power capacity, more than any other cloud provider. So they're going further downstream and giving the market more comfort that they have the power to actually do this shit. It opened something called Project Rainier, an $11 billion AI data center built to run Anthropic models, which is part of a partnership that will see Anthropic using 1 million Trainium2 chips by the end of 2025.
Yeah, that's their big partner. That's Anthropic's big partner.
Well, and get used to this term Trainium2, because I had never heard this term. Trainium2 is Amazon's in-house AI chip that has become a multi-billion-dollar business growing 150%, not year on year, quarter on quarter. Yeah. So now Amazon is in kind of the niche Nvidia business.
Let me just tell you think they all want to depend on Nvidia? No.
Oh, they're all trying to figure out a chip.
No. He's got a limited time.
And Amazon raised its 2025 CapEx forecast to $125 billion, signaling that AI demand is still accelerating. And by the way, you brought up a key component, and that is as a percentage of their top-line revenue, Apple is dramatically an underspender in CapEx.
So are they riding on the rails? They're riding on the rails because you see AI throughout the phone. I'll tell you, in this new system, it's always answering AI-like questions. Although, whether you're using another app, every app has it in it. It just is using other people's AI is what it is.
They're at a different point in the life cycle, and that is Apple. Here's the problem. When shareholders get used to profits, it's like their lips get around the crack pipe of profit, and you take the crack pipe away, they get very angry. And basically Apple, I don't want to say it's a financial engineering company, but basically their share buybacks, they've bought back like a third or a half of their stock. And the way their stock keeps going up is they're a cash generation machine, and they use that to buy back stock. So if a company, whereas with Meta and Amazon, people were sort of have a very recent memory of extraordinary CapEx and doesn't punish Amazon to the same extent if they reduce their profitability. And put another way, Apple acts and behaves and has shareholder expectations that it's more of a mature company, whereas the other three are still seen more as growth companies, and their shareholder base has a greater tolerance for investment. So, for example, you mentioned Jeff Bewkes. The reason Jeff Bewkes sold at the top of the market and convinced his board we should sell to these drunken fools at AT&T if they're willing to pay this money, because if you want me to compete with Netflix, I've got to go from being very profitable to very unprofitable.
Yep.
And our shareholder base didn't sign up for that.
Right.
And there's going to be a revolt, and this thing's going to sell off like crazy. So, in addition, I'm just blown away by Amazon's push in automation. If not for a one-time FTC charge and severance costs, operating margins would have hit 12%, which is a record high. And again, the piece of the earnings call that just blew my mind
was
in their retail unit. Mm-hmm. They are predicting in 2033, by 2032 or 2033, in 7 to 8 years, they have put this out there. We can double the revenue of the second largest retailer by gross dollar volume in history, just behind Walmart, with no additional people.
Yeah, automation. Automation. I mean, by the way, they're way behind China, just so you know. Just like you've seen some of this automation stuff happening. I think, and I've said this over and over, and I wish you would focus on it, is everyone's focused on AI. I'd focus on robots and automation. Like that to me is where these leaps and bounds are happening in ways that really truly do save money in a different way. I think AI combined with automation, and having just been in Korea and seeing some of this, it's really quite astonishing, the cost savings in so many ways, and how far this automation has gone. I think it's I think it's I think AI is doing the fan dance, but automation is something people should be paying attention to. And Amazon has always been forefront when they bought Kiva. It really made me sit up and take notice at the time. That was many, many years ago. All right. Other interesting news. President Trump says that Nvidia's most powerful AI chips, the Blackwell series, are staying in America. Trump told 60 Minutes that China and possibly other countries wouldn't be allowed to buy them, basically keeping America's AI technology at home. Trump did leave the door open for China to buy less advanced Nvidia chips, which they are apparently, but not the top tier stuff. This came just days after he met with Chinese President Xi Jinping in South Korea, where Trump said the chip issue didn't actually come up in conversation. So this is the result of all the Trump fluffing of Jensen Huang. I was a little confused by this statement, but I guess they're not going to be able to sell them. So there.
There's a very interesting debate taking place in the dynamics around global trade, and that is we sequester or embargo our chips from being shipped, our best chips being shipped to China. Now, the question is, should we not be letting China create parity in terms of the most sophisticated brains to power weapons, media, or was that just motivation for them to do a workaround?
That's right.
Mm-hmm. So, and by the way, I don't feel like I have an answer on that. I think it's a really interesting argument.
Let them steal our stuff and do a workaround. I think you left that.
Well, that's right. You create incentive for them to call on their operatives. And by the way, I think what's interesting is I was speaking to someone who was in our intelligence apparatus, and he's like, do you realize no spy ever thinks they're doing anything wrong? If you're a Chinese national and you're given an unbelievable opportunity to come study in the U.S. and they get you a job at Google from someone they know who shall remain nameless, and they start asking for your advisory and your help on stuff, you don't feel like a spy, right? You don't feel like you're spying for the U.S. And there are Chinese operatives everywhere. There are Chinese soft assets everywhere. And their playbook is, okay, if Siemens, if you're not going to sell us these cell towers because you see strategic initiative in it, I don't know if that was the case, we'll figure out a way to reverse engineer them, get some key critical IP, copy it, and sell it back to you for 40 cents on the dollar, which your telco operators are going to love. So would we be better off capturing all that shareholder value and saying, okay, we'll sell you these GPU hoppers? I don't know the answer to that. I think it's a real conundrum. What I'm increasingly convinced of, and when this was our prediction a couple of weeks ago, I think if China really wanted to go for our heart and lungs and really go for the jugular, they would be spending a lot of money and coordinating an effort to dump. So the U.S. steel industry, essentially the Chinese were accused of dumping. And that was, okay, we have all these steel plants in mainland China. We're going to dump steel into the U.S., meaning we're going to price it below even production costs. We're going to put every U.S. steel company out of business, and we're going to consolidate the market, and then we'll raise prices. And by the way, a lot of big tech companies are accused of that. Amazon was accused essentially of dumping retail, pricing it below their costs. No retailer could keep up. Boom, they own 50% of all e-commerce. And what do you know? They have slowly but surely raised their prices, right? I believe that China, the CCP, the key gangster move for them would be to dump AI, would be to dump LLMs. And that is create a series of LLMs and maybe chips and even new technologies, open source, open weight, dump it into the U.S. market, and basically ruin Sam Altman's fever dreams of having $1 trillion IPO when every college kid starts using this new LLM or AI that is free and they can download in a second, and or big enterprises start signing up for enterprise licenses, or they say, we have a new LLM and a new AI technology that's not going to require you to build a bunch of nuclear power plants. If I were Xi, I'd be like, okay, we're not going to go after them kinetically or economically. What we're going to do is we're just going to engage in AI dumping because it is so striking. Do you realize if it wasn't for AI right now, the market would be flat?
Flat. Yeah. You said, and this is what's, you made the thing that Amanda still brings up which is like Trump would be in a lot more trouble if AI hadn't been boosting.
We'd be in recession.
We'd be in recession.
GDP growth would be 0 to negative right now if it wasn't for AI and the promise of AI.
Yeah.
And all you need to do is pop that balloon and say, guess what?
Yeah.
We're going to Old Navy your ass. We're going to offer 80% of your expensive LLMs and expensive technology, and we're going to do it for not 50% of the price, for 0% of the price. Right. And the thing about China is that the CCP can do this. They run their companies for control, not for profit. But I think there's real existential threats here from China around AI.
Well, we'll see if they do it. We're going to blame you, Scott Galloway.
There you go.
Happy birthday. Well, we'll see what happens here. But you're right. You're right. This is all an AI party that we're all living in, and we'll see if that sustains itself. All right, Scott. Although if you're a the problem with the AI people is you have one normal critical thing to say, and they're like, "You're a doomsayer," and you're like, "No, I just am a reasonable person that wonders." That everything isn't going up and to the right. And speaking of which, let's go on a quick break. When we come back, Elon says flying cars are coming soon. Sure.
Support for the show comes from Pipedrive. I've spent plenty of hours speaking to entrepreneurs, and the one issue that always seems to pop up, they struggle with their sales process. It's all too common to jump between back and forth emails, scattered notes, and forgotten follow-ups, and spending more time chasing paperwork than actually closing. That's where Pipedrive comes in. Pipedrive is a top-rated CRM tool for small to medium businesses. With Pipedrive, sales teams are equipped to close deals at a much faster rate. The visual sales pipeline shows you where every deal is, what stage it's in, and what needs to happen next, all in one dashboard. Plus, Pipedrive lets you automate your follow-ups so no leads slip through the cracks, and its AI features can analyze your sales process to take your business to the next level. It's a powerful yet simple CRM built by salespeople for salespeople. Join the over 100,000 companies already using Pipedrive. Right now, when you use my link, you'll get a 30-day free trial. No credit card or payment needed. Just head to pipedrive.com/pivot to get started. That's pipedrive.com/pivot. And you can be up and running in minutes.
Scott, we're back. Elon Musk is talking about the Tesla Roadster again. Remember the sports car he's been promising for about 8 years? That's, when we were supposed to land on Mars. And before that, we were supposed to get full autonomous, none of which has happened. He told Joe Rogan that Tesla is hoping to finally unveil it before the end of this year and hinted that it might be able to fly. He can't even deliver the car, but this is what he said. Let's listen to what he said about it.
Like, this is some crazy, crazy technology we got in this car. Crazy technology. Crazy.
So different than what was previously announced and...
Yes.
And is that why you haven't released it yet? Because you keep fucking with it?
It has crazy technology.
Okay.
Is it even a car? I'm not sure. It looks like a car. Let's just put it this way. It's crazier than anything James Bond... If you took all the James Bond cars and combined them, it's crazier than that.
He seems crazy. As always, he's making this up. I'm sorry. This is crazy to listen to him. And Joe Rogan, I don't mind Joe Rogan and his dumb incredulity, but God, can you ask a question like, hey, you haven't come out with it? Comments came right after Sam Altman posted that who is Musk's archenemy, posted that he tried to cancel his Roadster reservation from 2018, saying, look, I get delays happen, but 7.5 years is a bit much. Musk's got that huge shareholder vote coming this week about his $1 trillion compensation package. So he's on the road talking to incredulous people like Joe Rogan. Just deliver the fucking car, dude. Like, it doesn't have to fly. Like, this is just nonsense. This is another one of his promises that promises made, promises broken, essentially. I don't know. What do you think?
Well, okay, so let's just look at the data. It's been 2,400 days since Elon said there would be 1 million Tesla robotaxis within the year.
Oh, yeah, that was,
It's been
I forgot.
3,100 days since he said all superchargers were being converted to solar. It's been 3,300 days since Tesla started charging customers for self-driving software that he said would be able to drive from LA to New York City autonomously by the end of 2017. That still hasn't happened 8 years later.
Yeah.
It's been 1,100 days since he predicted that under his leadership, Twitter could reach 1 billion monthly users.
Oh, that, yeah.
It's been 1,700 days since he announced that he'd be uploading a full self-driving button to Teslas. This is no different.
I love your data. I love Scott brings the data.
There you
Because
go.
you're a man. That's why. Notes on being a
100%.
man. Bring the data.
Swinging on those vines of data. Look, this is no different. Okay, so Trump will say and do anything to create a distraction from Epstein. Musk will say and promise anything to distract from the fact this is a fucking car company that should be worth 90% less than what it's worth right now. The Rabovin.
Yeah. Did you
Right?
see that chart I sent you? 312 times earnings compared to like Apple at 30 or whatever. It's crazy.
It's become a meme stock. And
Yeah.
and by the way, this is not financial, but don't short this thing. It could, who knows?
They'd be crazy. Yeah.
But I remember that I think it was The Spy Who Loved Me. They had this amazing car, Bond car. So I'm fascinated by
space. The one that went into space.
They didn't have a
can't
car that
remember.
went into space. They've had a flying car and the man with the golden gun, and then they had a car that went underwater.
Well, underwater one, yeah.
Oh, I think that was The Spy Who Loved Me, but I forget. Anyways, I know a little bit about aviation. It's what's fascinated me. I'm an investor in 2 aviation companies, a company called Boom Technologies, which is trying to create the first commercial supersonic plane since the Concorde, and I'm an investor in vertical aerospace in Europe, which is trying to create
Velo.
It's basically like a drone that carries people.
Yeah,
It's
vertical lift and takeoff.
Yeah, exactly. It's a super hot space. Joby and Archer are the
Right.
2 U.S. leaders, and vertical aerospace is the European leader. I know how much time, capital, and more than anything else, regulation is involved
One
in
of
producing.
those falls on a Christmas tree.
Well, one of the
That's
great
the end of it.
one of the great unlocks in our economy is that the FAA has basically said we're going to certify these things to like 4 or 5 sigma, meaning that okay, there's going to be 10,000 crash fatality or automobile accidents. America's been normalized by that. We have to get people so comfortable with this unnatural act of flying across the surface of the atmosphere at 7/10 the speed of sound in a metal tube with recirculated oxygen, which quite frankly feels very unnatural.
Oh, thanks.
So
I'm
we've
about
got to
get on a
make it.
plane. Go ahead.
We've got, pardon?
I'm about to get on a plane tomorrow morning.
Yeah,
Go
but
ahead.
the reason why people don't just fucking freak out and
Yeah.
refuse to fly is that it's the safest form of travel ever invented. I mean, it's just, we used to have to eat our nieces and nephews to get across the Rockies. And now it takes us a couple hours and we get peanuts and a ginger ale. And no matter how neurotic you are, you try to let your data take over and realize the drive to the airport was about 30 times more dangerous than actually the plane ride. But my point is the certification to get a flying vehicle, this is all just fucking nonsense. This is nothing but don't look at Jeffrey Epstein, don't talk about Jeffrey Epstein, and don't dare you refer to my company as just a great automobile company that should be trading at an $80 billion market cap, not a $1.4 trillion market cap.
Yep.
This is continued jazz hands and distraction. Nobody does it better than this guy.
Yeah, he's like P.T. Barnum, but except he doesn't provide.
He's
the circus.
very good at this.
Yeah.
And so immediately I got caught up on like it piqued my interest and I forwarded to the guys at Vertical Aerospace and they came back and said, yeah, they'll show a video of this thing hovering 15 feet off the ground.
Yeah.
It takes, I'm not exaggerating, it takes 10 years and billions to
Yep.
get any new aircraft into the air where you can take passengers
are
in
you
it.
kidding? He can't even get the robo-taxis going that well. Waymo is running right over him. And the same thing with these. You're right. He will release some photograph.
He doesn't have a Roadster. He announced a
No.
Roadster in
I
2018,
know.
and Sam Altman keeps posting screenshots of his $50,000
exactly.
deposit waiting for his Roadster to show
Yeah,
up.
he's asked for it back. But I mean, it's just ridiculous. It's not going to fly. And by the way, other people have been working on it. If people don't know, like Larry Page was invested in one of those flying cars. I don't doubt someday there'll be a hovercrafty kind of car. Not after we're long dead, but there'll be a hovercraft type of car. But it's not going to be widespread until long after you, me, and Elon have left this planet, and not in the good way. This is just nonsense. And he's just doing it because he's on his little tour to show that he's like the master inventor and deserves the $1 trillion.
No, it's distraction. I got to distract.
He's not the master inventor anymore, folks. He's just not. He could have done a lot more. Instead, he's wasted his time on whatever the fuck he's doing. And this is just more nonsense.
I think that's a little bit unfair. I think SpaceX is extraordinary.
Well,
and I do
great
think
for Gwynne Shotwell then. I give her all the credit.
Well, but he hired her. You got to give him some credit.
Fine, whatever. Good.
Greatness is in the agency of others, and
that's
he
great,
manages
but he's
to
had
get
enough
great people.
credit for her work. I just feel like it's her now at this point.
And I get credit for your work. I show up and press record, and you've done most of the hard work.
You've more than leveled up, let's just say. You've more than leveled up.
Thank you for that.
He has not.
Thank you for that.
Anyway, I know you're kind to him, but this is just doing this kind of stuff.
I wouldn't describe myself as kind to Elon Musk.
I know that, but what I'm saying, he doing this kind of stuff tells me everything, which is like, it's crazy. Can't tell you. Ooh, shh. That's why I haven't gotten.
And then Joe Rogan. I mean, it's like, literally like the biggest cock tease in the world that's not that attractive. It's like, okay, come on. It's
Joe
like,
Rogan. Oh, you mean you haven't delivered to us, not because you're incompetent, but because there's more. Like,
wait, mRNA vaccines alter your DNA? Huh, that's super interesting. No one's talking about it.
Whoa.
No one's talking about it.
Anyway, whatever. I don't have a problem with Joe Rogan being as incredulous as he is. That's his brand. Anyway, one more quick break. We'll be back for wins and fails.
Support for the show comes from Apple. Before the show was even a podcast, all I had was an idea. And once I had that, all I really needed to get started was a mic and a Mac. I have been starting businesses my whole life. One thing that has been static, a constant in all of my business, is Apple products. They just work. They send the right signal. It sounds sort of strange, but they make me feel good about myself. They make me feel creative. But they have been just the foundation upon which I have built my businesses. No matter what you have an idea for, whether it's starting the business you've been dreaming of, a game-changing piece of tech, or finally writing that book, go for it. You just need to get started. Your great ideas start on Mac. Find out more on apple.com/Mac.
Okay, Scott, let's hear some wins and fails. You go first.
So while we were sleeping, Amazon struck a deal with OpenAI. Their cloud arm signed a $38 billion deal with OpenAI.
Yeah, we mentioned that, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And it matters because if you control the infrastructure and AI models, you sort of set the terms. And I do think this is, again, I think Amazon is on a roll here and about to bust out. My fail is pretty straightforward. Stop using children as human shields. And this is just not, the most critical thing, regardless of what and I apologize for bringing this up, the most critical thing you could say of Hamas was that they were using children as human shields. Whether you believe that's true or not, that is the worst insult you could make.
I would agree with you on that.
That was the worst insult you could make of anybody. And I think the Republicans are in a position to utilize and unlock emergency funds such that 14 million children have food. And instead they've said no because they care more about kids than we do, and it'll put pressure on them. This is depraved. It is the exact opposite of what it means to be a representative leader. It's the exact opposite of what it means to pretend to be masculine or a man or a leader. And by the way, I want to be clear, masculinity comes from men and women. It's also, I won't get into gender, but it's just so it's so embarrassing that the world's most prosperous country has decided to engage in political warfare and use children as human shields.
Also, some of the misinformation about what people can buy on Snap, they're quite strict, and there's work requirements.
Hair weaves and extensions.
Oh my God, stop it! You can't even buy like a roasted chicken.
I don't think you can buy alcohol, can you?
I go to the store, I see what's the Snap stuff. It's
That's where
all
I get
basics.
my calories is from
can't.
Modelo's.
Like every congressman that does that, I literally want to reach to the TV and throttle them. It's not true. It's not popsicles and hair weaves, folks, and which is also a version of race. Like the way that the words they're using are so ridiculous. There's a lot of this stuff in red states, white people, poor people. There's all kinds of poor people in this country that are going to suffer, and they're not going to eat. That's really what they're not going to do. And so the fact that it has to be made up for by charities and people around the country when we've paid into our government to pay for things like this, and it's worthwhile, and it is not being abused by people. And meanwhile, they have a Gatsby thing. Oh, it just drives me crazy. You're 100% right.
Do you have any wins and fails, Kara?
Yes, I do. My fail was the interview on 60 Minutes. It was a really disappointing interview of Trump. He lied. Listen, it was good for him. He just lied continually, and they didn't catch him. I was dying. I like Norah O'Donnell. I think she's very smart. I thought she did a very tough interview with Kamala Harris. I wish that Norah O'Donnell had shown up. I wish Chris Wallace was there. I wish Bret Baier was there. He did a pretty tough.
What happened to Chris Wallace? Chris, where are you?
Chris, he's working. He's actually advising Paramount. Oddly enough, I wish he had done the interview. Honestly, he did a really tough interview on Trump that was fair too. Same. Bret Baier did a pretty tough one too. And I don't often think that's the case.
I have newfound. I told you I went to that Master of the Universe weekend, and Bret did a bunch of panels.
Yeah.
I think he is a very talented journalist.
He is.
I didn't know him.
Yeah.
I was
He's a
very
nice guy.
impressed by him.
He's a very nice fellow. He's my mother's favorite Fox News personality.
Oh, really?
Yes, indeed. She loves Bret Baier.
He looks like the high school college football star that got a 1400 on the SAT.
Oh, does he? Yeah.
He looks like a scholar athlete. Anyways.
He likes to sing. That's all I know. He sings
He
with
likes to
John
sing?
He sings with Warner, Mark Warner. The two of them sing together. It's weird.
Senator Warner likes to
Yes,
sing?
I was at a party and the two of them broke out, and I literally was like, I have to leave
I
Washington.
love Senator Warner.
I was like, I have to leave Washington.
I love Senator.
immediately.
If I could have
kick back
anyone,
a few, let's just
if I
say.
could have anyone be president right now,
he'd be good.
installed, and it
Yeah.
wouldn't cause revolution because the right doesn't think he's crazy left, it would be Senator Mark Warner.
Yeah, he's a great guy. I had dinner with him recently. But
You always have to one up me.
I just telling you, I did.
always
He likes
have to
you. He
one
talks
up
about
me.
you all the time. He's like, how's Scott? You know, I
you
like
go.
him too. Anyway, he and Bret Baier sang a delightful duet at a party I was at once, and it was quite. Anyway, I thought it was a failure of an interview, and it was embarrassing actually for 60 Minutes. And it gets some better questions. I think Nora certainly could have handled it, but didn't in this case, and let Trump go on and on. And
I liked
on.
her episode with Peter Attia where we got to see how long
did
she
you?
could do a free hang.
Yeah, she's in good shape.
She is in good
Anyway, my win, of course, is Scott Galloway. Let's
Go
go to
on.
the top of the bestseller.
You've been so supportive.
I have.
I think
What is
you're
wrong
missing.
with you? Why wouldn't I be? Would you not
But
be
no, I
supportive?
literally think you're missing having boys around. You've been like this supportive,
I have
loving
plenty of
person.
children to support. My children are very
God,
demanding in
it's
many ways.
It's
and also-
embarrassing. I do not take compliments well.
I know you don't. Just take it. Happy birthday, first of all. I know you don't like it, but I'm happy it's your birthday. I'm glad you're still
51.
here.
It hurts.
51. Let's just say. Don't worry. I will feed you
God for
soft
the scrotum
foods.
lift.
When you get 92, I'll be feeding you soft foods. Don't worry.
We're going to be like, do you know that?
or I'll hire someone.
Do you know those guys from Veep at the end when they're showing them later in life?
Yeah.
And that guy is so foul and rude to his intern.
Yeah.
And and then he's pushing his intern around in a wheelchair, just insulting him.
Yes, exactly.
That's going to be you pushing me
Yes,
around.
I am going to do that. Anyway, I hope you get to the top of the list. I'm very excited for a
appreciate
tour
that.
that's
Thank
coming
you.
up. And we want to hear from you. Send us your questions about business, tech, or whatever's on your mind. Go to nymag.com/pivot to submit a question for the show or call 855-51-PIVOT. Speaking of Scott Galloway, elsewhere in the Kara and Scott universe, on the latest episode of On with Kara Swisher, I spoke with someone named Scott Galloway about his new book, Notes on Being a Man.
Here we go.
And
Not
he
enough
talked-
Scott. We don't have enough Scott here.
I know. We don't. Listen, we have our show. We can use it to talk about ourselves
thank
and
you.
our work. It's a very good book. Anyway, you talked very candidly about your father like you did on The View. I don't think you weeped, but let's listen to a clip.
For 10 years, the last 20 years of his life, whenever we talk on the phone, he'd say, I love you. And it took me 10 years to say it back because it just felt awkward. I'm like, Dad, I could have used this at 8. I don't need it at 38. But let me put it this way. At a very basic level, Kara, he tried. He was better to me than his father was to me. And also, I have made an exceptional living communicating.
Mm-hmm.
I got that from my father. My father could hold a room like no person. And I have to acknowledge, and just because he didn't try, he didn't give it to me on a silver platter, there's no reason you can't be grateful.
That was a very nice thing. I asked you what good thing, because you talked a lot about the deficits that you faced, but I thought it was important to point out the good things. That was good.
Well, this can be shocking to our viewers. You're actually a decent kind of mediocre, maybe good interviewer. You're actually okay. You're getting there.
I heard people
You're
tell
getting
me that.
there.
I've been
You're
told.
getting there.
I've
Not
been
bad.
told. Yeah,
Not
thank
bad.
you. Thank you. It was a good interview. And you're going to see a lot of Scott, but that's the one you should pay attention to. Anyway, that's the show. Thanks for listening to Pivot, and be sure to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. We'll be back on Friday, our last show before our week-long series of shows. We're going to run out of things to talk about.
There we go.
We're going to be coming there in Elon's flying car, obviously, and maybe we will have the Robovan in one place or something like that. Anyway, Scott, read us out.
Today's show was produced by Lara Naaman, Zoë Marcus, Taylor Griffin, and Christine Driscoll. Aaliyah Jackson engineered this episode. Jim Mackil edited the video. Thanks also to Drew Burrows, Miss Severo, Dan Shalon, and Kate Gallagher. Nishat Kurwa is Vox Media's executive producer of podcasts. Make sure to follow Pivot on your favorite podcast platform. Thanks for listening to Pivot from New York Magazine and Vox Media. You can subscribe to the magazine at nymag.com/pod. We'll be back later this week for another breakdown of all things tech and business.